Well, you saw the wonderful collard greens they had at the University of Kentucky's farm, and I wanted to show you a quick method of the way I like to cook these. And the thing with collard greens is that even though this looks like a lot, they're going to shrink quite a bit. When you buy collards, what you want to look for, see how succulent these leaves are? They're not papery, they're not too overgrown. I mean, this is a really great size for collards. And real simply, what you want to do is just pull this spine out. So fold this leaf over, and then just hold the leaf as you pull this out. And then you just tear. It's like you're tearing up a note you don't want anybody to read. This method that we're going to cook is very similar to the way my granddad used to make his greens. Braised greens create pot liquor. The liquid will come out of the collard greens and combine with the onions and the smokiness of the bacon, and that's what's called a pot liquor. My granddad used to serve his over crunchy cornbread, so that you make that extra sauce so that when you poured the greens over the cornbread, it would soak into the cornbread. I mean, the first time I had my granddad's cornbread, I didn't really care for it too much until the greens were put on top of it. And I'm like, oh, now I understand why it's hard cornbread. There we go. Put this in our compost bucket. Half an onion. Then, so it kind of melts down. And we're going to cut these in what's called a lardon size. It's a French word for a size. It's kind of like a rectangle, if you will. You can put a whole piece of bacon in there, but by cutting it up this way, it mingles more. Garlic, just give it a little crack, and then the skin will slide off. I always kind of hold my fingers down so that the knife rubs against the knuckle. We'll start out with our bacon. We don't really want the bacon to be crispy. We're just kind of rendering the flavor out of it, just kind of softening up the bacon. So after the bacon, onions, garlic, we'll throw a little bit of black pepper in there, a little bit of salt. I'm just going to cook this until it gets soft. Now we're going to add our greens, and we're going to add all of them that we can fit into this pan. And the steam coming off of there will cook the greens, and the greens will release their liquid, and the greens will shrink. You can see the leaves are turning that real bright green color, which will eventually cook down some more. Special salt here for anything like this when I'm going to finish up. This is the salt we got from our Della Fattoria trip. It's the sea salt they use to make their bread. I always like to add a little bit of hot sauce right at the end. And we have our braised collard greens. Looks good, huh?